In this video, I'll be showing you how to paint a Poxwalker really quickly using just contrast paint. If this is the first time you visited the channel, please consider subscribing. Alright, let's get going. So with this guy, we're going to paint from dark to light. So the darkest colour I'm going to do are his horns coming out of his head and his shoulder. And also you can see he's got all these quite bumpy horns, nails. I'm not sure what they are as he's kind of mutating through there. So first one we'll do is the horn. So we're using Wyldwood for this. And we're just going to cover all this area with the contrast paint. So we've probably not got enough on my brush there, so let's put a little bit more on. There you are, that's much better. You can see, so we'll take it right to the edge. And the reason we're going to paint dark to light is so that any mistakes we can make, we'll just go back in and correct with the Wraithbone undercoat. If we were going light to dark, then the opportunity that we'd have to make some mistakes would be a lot higher. Okay, so we'll do the bits here on that bit of horn coming out the back. And the reason I've gone dark here is I'm trying to mimic the Games Workshop scheme they've got on their website. And also I think it's good to have some variation. So some of them will have bone coming out, some of them might have wood growing out of them, some of them might have God knows what growing out of them. So that's those bits, we let that dry. And we're also going to do these bits of nail on here as well. And we'll see how that turns out. And then any mistakes we can just go back over with the Wraithbone itself. So I'm going to go around the model and finish off all these nails, and then we'll come back and we'll move on to the next step, which will be the trousers. And while that Wyldwood is drying, I'm going to move on. I'm going to use Gryph Hound Orange. We're going to do the trousers. So this is kind of giving it that industrial worker look that they've got on the Games Workshop website. Maybe he's working on a refinery. I do have to say, I love the Gryph Hound Orange colour and how it looks. So we're just going to throw it onto these trousers. And you can see straight away that is looking really good, and it's getting into those recesses, giving some really nice shading. So we don't have to be too careful when you get down to the legs, but I would advise just taking your time a little bit. We will go in and fix any bits and pieces that we need to later. But you can see straight away this Gryph Hound Orange is absolutely perfect for the intended reasons of, or the intended purpose of contrast paints, I guess, because it is just one coat making this part of the job so easy. And again, little few overspills, they're okay. We will be going back in with the Wraithbone primer to clear those up as well. Just getting the last bit of orange done here. Make sure you get up inside the leg as well. You know, this is, what was that, 30 seconds? Might have been a bit more, I lose track of time when I'm filming. But yeah, that's really straightforward. And you know, if there's a little bit too much, you think maybe a little bit around here, for example, you can take some of that away. I've just wiped the brush in some tissue and then taken away some of it. So that's looking really, really good. You don't have to do much more than that, really. Would I highlight that? Maybe. We'll see how it dries now. Make sure you get orange in all the bits, and we'll leave that coalesce, flow into all the different recesses, and we'll come back and we'll do some touch up with the Wraithbone as well. The two contrast paints are dry, so I've gone back in with Wraithbone and I've just tidied up all the little bits. So the next colour we're going to use is Guilliman Flesh, and we're just going to put this all over the flesh areas of this Poxwalker. What I will say though is we're really going to keep this paint moving, so we're not going to let it pool too much. Just keep it moving around the model. And the reason for that is we don't necessarily want it to be the strongest of Guilliman Flesh. The other option is, of course, using some of the contrast medium to keep it thin, but what I found sometimes is you go too thin. So we're just going to use Guilliman Flesh straight out of the pot. I'm just going to work it around and into all the different parts of this this Poxwalker. You see I missed a little bit of a horn there, and you may also notice that the model has grown a cork at the bottom. I started off the video holding by the base, and it's okay if you can do it, but I've got hands like feet, so I needed to make sure that I had something a little bit more stable, so I just popped it on a cork there. You may use your holder of choice, it's entirely up to you. I'm just going to work my way through the hands there, and what's really interesting now is as I'm starting to put some more colour onto the hands, I can see that I actually missed some of the growths coming out of it, so that's okay. We can go back in, we can fix that, and pay attention. As I'm moving around, I'm just moving that Guilliman Flesh to stop it pooling too much in one area. So these models have got a lot of detail that the flesh is going to want to run into, so just keep it moving, keep it working. It's really important, because what we're going to do is we're going to add some sort of decayed parts of flesh to this as well. He's not exactly 100% fresh as a Poxwalker. They're not shiny, they're disease ridden, they're coming for you, and they want to turn you into another one of their number. So we're just going to keep working our way around this model. Doesn't matter if you get it on some of these boils and pustules, we'll just tidy those up with Wraithbone later. So I'm going to finish this now, get to the end of this arm, do the feet, and let it dry, and we'll come back for the next step and see where we're at with him. As the Guilliman Flesh is drying, I've gone back in and you can see I've put some more Wraithbone over some of these boils and pustules. So the next paint we're going to use is Athonian Camo shades. This is one of the washes, and essentially what we're going to do is we're going to use this to just disease him up a little bit. So we're just going to add little bits of him to the model, just because it gives that decayed look to some parts of the skin, and that's, you know, looking really, really good. I'm not putting a huge amount in, but it just gives that kind of greeny brown colour that says disease, decay, all the blessings and gifts of Nurgle. So as you see, I'm just tapping this in with the brush, a little bit underneath there. I'm not letting it pool anywhere, but it's giving a really nice shade to the model, which just helps portray that Nurgly look. Put some up here as well and around some of the joints. Just going to sort of go about halfway up the arm there, just to give a bit of alternating colour. Same on the back there, and you can see I've still got some Wraithbone on there, so we're going to get those pussy bits done as well. Drop that in there, but move it around so that it doesn't go absolutely everywhere. We don't want it to be too dark. We still want to get some of that flesh colour showing through, because it's kind of a rotting flesh colour. And last little bit of this along this arm here. Again, so I'm just tapping it in and letting the wash do the work. I'm using one of my older brushes as well. I'm not using my good brushes for this part. And the last bit I want to do is I want to kind of get up into the face a little bit. Just have it around there and around the teeth, so you can really see the decay starting to manifest itself on this chap. Okay, so that's the Athonian Camo shade done. Probably do a little bit on his legs as well, actually, thinking about it, just under and we've got that blotchiness and towards the bottom of the model. So the decay is rising up from the ground. Everywhere he walks, the disease will follow him. So there we are. I'll get that in there. Lovely job, or not lovely job, depending on how you look at it. So the last colour we've got to do is going to be Plaguebearer Flesh. So I'll let the Athonian Camo shade come back, dry. We'll come back and we'll get this Poxwalker finished and on the table. And whilst we're waiting for that to dry, we might as well just pop the Plaguebearer Flesh on. So we're going to put some healthy dollops, and this is going on all the bright bits we've got there. So we've got these pussy bits on the stomach. Just tap it in there. It makes it look a little bit radioactive, I guess, doesn't it? But that's fine, because this is a denizen of Nurgle. He's a Poxwalker. He's a plague disease carrying ex-human. Let's just work your way around all the bits where we put that Wraithbone back down, so a little bit on the back here, and again it's not going to be everywhere. Just work it in until you're happy with it, and then the last bit we'll do here is we'll just do the eyes. They're quite sad and diseased. There's probably a little bit too much on there, so I'm just going to take some away. Well, that's better. And there we are. Once that guy is dry, we'll base him, and that's job done. Great tabletop standard Plaguebearer, Poxwalker. Get confused with the paints and all these bits of Nurgle. It's fine. And there you have it, a really easy, straightforward Poxwalker ready for the tabletop. Now you could go in and add some highlights to it, to the skin, to the trousers maybe to make it pop, but when you've got 10, 20, 30 or 40 of these on the table, I think this looks pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, and if you want to comment, please drop one down below. If you've got any questions or queries, or if there's any tutorials you'd like to see, I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't already, then please consider subscribing, and if you want to support the channel, there is an affiliate link in the description below. Now this is for Goblin Gaming, and if you do choose to use that link and buy anything, then I'll get a small percentage paid back to me. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help in terms of getting the models, the paints and all the other materials I need to make these tutorials. Thanks for watching.